Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix? Bob here. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, guys, I wanted to continue on with this talk about, who really controls the world. And it's so crucial because with everything going on right now, with how much they're pushing humanity into these division tactics, divide and conquer, how much they're pitting us against each other while they're also dismissing us. There's a reason for all this, and some people have asked me, like, why are you focusing so much on this ancient history? Because what's it have to do with now? Well, folks, it has everything to do with now. Because this conflict has been going on since that time. Since they genetically modified the human avatar. This advanced civilization, whether they were interdimensional, extraterrestrial, or, as I've hypothesized, that they were the survivors of Atlantis, the ruling class of Atlantis, the military and the science class. What they did, folks, was it wasn't just this human avatar they created, this slave race. It was the fact that spirits inhabited these human avatars. Well, these spirits, this conscious energy that are fractals of the source of all creation, are all powerful deities in their own right. So, spirits that come into flesh, they are co-creators with Source. They can directly interface with the quantum field. They are all powerful, they just don't know it. And that was what these Elohim, these watchers, feared. It even says it in the ancient texts. It says that they were afraid of what they had done, because to animate these avatars, to create this worker race, they had to use these conscious spirits to inhabit these human avatars. And they understood that these were conscious energy that could, with awakening, become fully into their power and would know who these other beings were, and that they were just as powerful, if not more powerful than they. Because it's quite obvious that this watcher race, that they lack a lot of empathy. They lack there's something about humans, the truest sense of humans, that they lacked. And I think it's the compassion and the love. And maybe because they live for so long, the further away from Source you are, maybe the more that you can be polarized to the dark side or something. And they thought by limiting our lifespans that they could limit our ability to become awake. It would shorten that period that we would have to figure out this mystery. And that as long as they could keep control of us through government, religion, and monetary policy, currency exchange, they could keep us in a state of survival and disempowerment, so that it would take us a long time to figure out this mystery. And the mystery I'm speaking of, folks, is that we are immortal spirits, that we are God, fractals of God, the children of God, of Creator, and that they are no more powerful than us. They've just understood this for so much longer. They have the enlightenment. They understand that how to interface with the quantum field. However, it seems that their culture lacked empathy and the ability to love deeply, and that we are emotional creatures, and that these avatars we were given are part mammal too, and that we would do whatever it takes to protect each other, to protect our young, and that when we work as a cohesive unit, they lose control of us. There's a lot to this, folks. The clues are in even the Bible. See, we've been tricked through religion to view things in the opposite lens. What was meant to enlighten us is used to enslave us, our minds. If you look at the Tower of Babel as a perfect example, have you ever questioned why, if mankind was all speaking one language and they were of one mind, working together to build this massive project, why were they trying to build a tower to heaven to overthrow Yahweh? Why, folks? And yes, this is all pinned on Nimrod. But why, folks? Have you ever thought critically why? If this is the all-loving, all-powerful creator of all, why would mankind be working together to overthrow its power over them? Why? Now, your religious schools teach you that, oh, it's because mankind was vain and they thought they were better than God. Folks, don't you get it? Better than God, not the creator God, folks. These little g gods. Do you not understand this? Humanity was finding enlightenment then. They were working together to overthrow these rulers, these principalities that were orbiting Earth in their flying devices, as is spoken of multiple times in the Bible, about like Ezekiel's wheel, the chariots of fire, the chariots of the gods, the Vimanas. They were trying to build something to get to these ships. Humanity had figured out at that time, they probably had help from some of these beings to understand what was happening, that they were enslaved. And they were trying to overthrow this. You find this in the Atrahasis also, folks. You've got to read these ancient texts. They tell you everything, folks. It's in your Bible too, but the Bible has been slanted to change your perception of what they were talking about so that they could continue to control us instead of to wake you up. Why? Nimrod's always called one of the worst enemies in the Old Testament to Yahweh. Why, folks? Don't you get it? Humanity had already figured this out then. So you got to realize, folks, this story goes way, way further back than 6,000 years. Way further back. The Anunnaki hybridized the human race around 200,000 years ago. Think about this. It took humanity a long time to figure out that these gods that they were worshiping were actually their jailers, were the entities that were holding humanity back, that had made them a slave race, that were using and abusing them. And humanity finally had figured it out, and they started working together cohesively to overthrow them. And what happened? Well, according to the Sumerian text, Enlil sent his son Ninurta to destroy the tower. to blow it up, folks. Like technology-wise, folks. And of course, that was Yahweh, right? In the Old Testament that did that. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get people to understand that Yahweh is not the good guy. Yahweh is evil, folks. Yahweh is the devil of this realm. You've been deceived. You've all been deceived. We've all been deceived. The flood. Many of you will say, well, God had a right to destroy all of his children he created because they had all become evil and corrupt. Yes, this all omnipotent God who created humankind didn't have the foresight to see, at least according to the Bible, that his children would become corrupt and evil and overrun the realms, this realm, and that he would have to wipe them out. Every man, woman, and child, everybody was evil. Folks, do you not get this? It was the Anunnaki wiping out their prototypes because they lost control of them. This narrative has been twisted, folks. Like I said, we've all been lied to. We've been tricked to think that the devil is the good guy. We've been tricked to think that we were the evil ones. And you're told that every day you go to church, every Sunday. How you're just a sinner, how you deserve death, how the only way that you could be justified to live in heaven is that you worship this character created by Constantine and his council in Nicaea of the ruling and priest class of the time, who more than likely was a bloodline back to these jailers, these overseers, these controllers of humanity. Folks, you got to wake up. I don't know how I can see through all this, but nobody else can. We've all been tricked. Don't you understand that the flood was a reset? What are they talking about right now? The Great Reset. These same ancient bloodlines, these same evil, corrupt, despicable characters, their human agents and their bloodline children are still at the helm of humanity. And right now, folks, just go to the WEF's own videos and watch what they say they plan to do with us. Transhumanism, folks, don't you get it? The Anunnaki figured out that they could never control us biological robots, these human avatars, because we are conscious energy beings. These are just the vessels. They know that they cannot control us as long as they use spirits from source. So they plan on doing a giant dismissal like the flood again, folks. But this time it's going to be world conflagration. Armageddon, if you get my meaning. The Revelations, that's their playbook, folks. Read in Revelation how humanity gets dismissed. They're doing that, folks. Don't you get it? Through the wars, through the medicines, through the food. They're telling us to our faces. And they plan on retooling humanity into transhumanism, AI-controlled robots. So that they're trying to figure out a way so that they can stop the spirit from overpowering their desires, their control over us. We're at a crossroads, folks. They're trying to figure out a way to trap spirits within a matrix within this matrix. That's why I keep teaching about the ancient teachings, folks. You've got to understand this. This is not some woo-woo spirits floating around and angels with wings floating around and battling and blah, blah, blah. Folks, we have lived for eternity. We have lived in many different avatars. We've been on Earth many different times. This battle between light and dark has been taking place forever. And this realm is just one of many realms, folks. In this realm, they love this realm because of the heavy duality of this realm. It allows them to manipulate this realm because they understand how to get us to push humanity to consciously, collectively build their systems. They use our creative abilities to ensnare us, to trick us, to enslave ourselves. We've got to wake up, folks. You are powerful. Wake up. You are one with Source, with God. Wake up. Don't you understand that the Savior, Yeshua, was trying to teach you about the Christ within? Awaken the Christ within, the Christ consciousness. That Christ consciousness, folks, is your connection to the Creator. You are not a weak, sinner, despicable being. You were made sinners by these beings, by their manipulations, by the fact that we share blood with them. We have all been tricked, folks. We were created in their image, the Elohim, the Shining Ones, the Anunnaki, the Watchers. It doesn't matter whatever you want to call them, folks. We were tricked. We were built in their design. However, our spirits were created in God's image. Our conscious energy is in God's image. Our bodies are in the Elohim, the Watchers, the Anunnaki's image. But their problem with us is that we are conscious energy, and no matter how hard they try to inhibit the spirit, they know deep down that they can never fully control the spirit, because once the spirit awakens in this realm to reality, that they lose all power over us, that their game is up, and that we finally overthrow them once and for all and build this world back into the Garden of Eden it was meant to be. And then they can go back to Source and, I guess, own up to what they've done. They've been so far, so long away from the light, from the Source, that they fear it. These games and manipulations that they've been doing for hundreds of thousands of years. And who knows how many other realms and they've done this stuff to. See, folks, everything in our society that you call sin, that's part of their culture. They made their culture our culture. And that culture is what pushes us further from the understanding of what we are and who we are. The deeper we go into physical reality, at least into the illusion of physical reality, the further from Source we get. It's time to wake up, folks. You've been tricked. Have you ever thought about in Revelation how it says that all, even possibly the elect, have been deceived by the Antichrist? But yet, how many billions of Christians are there worldwide? Your own book tells you you've been deceived. That almost all of you have been deceived. That very little will understand in the end times what the truth is. And who truly the Antichrist is. Don't you get it, folks? Even your own book tells you you don't know shit. Your own book tells you you've been deceived. You got to understand, folks, that the elite use Revelation as a playbook also. They understand how to manipulate us on a massive scale. That's why they propagandize. That's why they program us with entertainment. That's why they use music to mesmerize us. That's why they poison our foods and such. They understand that it lowers our vibration. They calcify our pineal gland because they understand that that is the seat of the soul. That represents the connection point between your spirit and your physical avatar. That connection with the operating system known as the brain, which science will try to tell you that consciousness comes from the brain. They're liars, folks. They're liars. Don't you get it? Your consciousness does not come from your brain. Your brain is the operating system. That's it. Yes, those on the left have been highly propagandized and brainwashed also, folks. They just get brainwashed by a different institution called higher learning, folks. Yeah, this whole higher learning myth, folks, it's BS. I'm not saying that you don't learn maybe certain skills or, fields of study that will help you with a career, but don't you understand, folks, these careers, these jobs and all this, all we're doing is being used as their workers. That's it. So you can think that you're special because you got a degree or, I got a bachelor's or a master's. Big deal, folks. You've got a bachelor's and a master's in brainwashing. And to this day, you don't even know what the hell you are. You fall for their lies. So be proud of that. You just are at a higher level of brainwashing. Woohoo! Way to go. Moving up in this realm, aren't you? But yet, many of those that are on the far left that are completely given in to licking the government boot, to trusting the science, they don't understand that it's all a lie too. See, they understand that how humanity works, and they understand that this brain, this left and right brain, how it feeds us into this duality of this realm. And it makes me start to wonder if our brain was designed on purpose that way to divide us. Instead of having one cohesive brain, even within our own brain, we're divided by our passions and desires and thoughts and how we view the world, how we interact with this realm. And possibly not. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. It's interesting to think about. But I'm at work, folks. I got to go. I didn't really go into the old stories too much. I'm just elaborating on what we've talked about the last few days. And I'm just trying to get you guys to wake up. We've all been lied to, folks. The stories of old that you've been told, just think about this. I would ask you one thing. Go back and reread some of these stories in the Old Testament, but look at it from a slightly different perspective, okay? Just look at it from the perspective that Old Testament God is the bad guy, and that his angels are his minions, the Lord of hosts, his commanders, these Anunnaki commanders over humanity. And read it just slightly different, folks, and you might be surprised how the story unfolds before you. And you might be finally able to wake up and understand why that Old Testament God was a jealous God, was so willing to wipe out so many people and command the destruction of cities and whole groups of peoples back then, and how he could just basically say, like these guys, the Philistines, they're all evil, kill every man, woman, and child, and all this. Folks, you've got to wake up. We've been under attack from the beginning. See, the mistake they made with humanity is that we are able to breed much quicker than them. We can overcome them by sheer numbers quickly. Think of the movie Ants, folks. The grasshoppers and the ants. Go back to that movie. Think about that. When the grasshopper's talking about why they control ants the way they do. Right there, folks. It's a big key. Think about this. The grasshoppers are bigger, stronger than the ants. There's few of them. The Anunnaki were bigger and stronger than us. All you got to look at is the ancient depictions of them and their demigod children. Now, over time, because of the diluting of blood through interbreeding and mixing, they look like us more. They're not a lot bigger than us, and they don't stand out like they used to. So we've all kind of been blended together where you can't tell who's who now. But deep down, there's still those big old grasshoppers, folks, and they've got to control and divide the ants, their workers that collect the food for them, that do all the work for them, while they, are our jailers, they control stuff from behind the scenes. And every time we get too big, they go and divide us amongst each other so we destroy ourselves. Or they just bring in great resets to restart over their grand experiment. So, anyways, folks, remember what I said, though, about us being fractals of Source. I want to leave you with a good thought, Just remember that. Take heed, folks. Be not afraid. Don't you get it? Ye are gods. You just have to wake up to that. And you are the Savior you've been waiting for. You just got to wake up to that. Wake up. I love you guys. Hey, I'll talk to you later.